Hello everyone and welcome to another Tamagotchi unboxing video. This time we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the newly released StarWars R2D2 Tamagotchi, which is another Bandai America Tamagotchi Nano, so that's pretty cool. Previously we had the Hello Kitty and the Pac-Man Tamagotchi being released by Bandai America, and now we have the R2D2 one, which I believe was announced on May the 4th this year. So there are two shells, there's this one and there's like a blue one, but I went for the R2D2 shell. And I'm also curious to find out how similar this is to the Tiger Electronics StarWars GigaPet R2D2 pet that was released many years ago, which I own, as you can see, but I've never actually opened it or played with it. So maybe I'll unbox this one once I'm done with this. But in any case, so if you are familiar with that one, you'll have to let me know how similar they are. I'm assuming they're quite different because one's a GigaPet and the other one's a Tamagotchi. So let's take a look at this. So it's kind of funny, like I completely forgot this was releasing until a little bit ago. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this is coming out in November. Because when something's announced so far, well, this year's been slow and fast at the same time, same with last year, but it felt like it was announced so long ago, and now we actually have it. So, as I mentioned, it's another Tamagotchi nano-sized virtual pet, and because it's a Bandai America release, instead of the little push button here, we have a screw, and that's similar with all the other Tamagotchi nanos released by Bandai America and not Bandai Japan, because instead of, I don't know why we go with screws instead of the little push button, which is much easier. You don't need a screwdriver, you just need something to push down that push button to release the back battery door. And I'm also wondering how similar this is to the other Bandai America produced Tamagotchis. Also, you'll notice that unlike the Japanese ones, it doesn't say Tamagotchi Nano, it just says Tamagotchi, and that's the same as what we had on the other Bandai America ones. They don't say Tamagotchi Nano, they just say regular Tamagotchi. And looking at the sprites at least seem Tamagotchi Nano-sized, so instead of having the smaller sprites like we saw on the Hello Kitty Nano and the Pac-Man Nano, well, I say nano, but they're just regular Tamagotchis, even though they're nano-inspired. But these ones seem much more in line with what we see on the other nanos, which are the quite big sprites. And also because it's Bandai America, it has different languages on the packaging, which, look, I know it's really hard to read because of all the different languages that they have. So 2 games, unlock 7 more games. Charge and wipe. Starships were meant to fly. And special visitors from the Star Wars movie series. So yeah, let's take a look at the Star Wars Tamagotchi. Okay, so similar startup to a regular Tamagotchi Nano, we'll set the time. So we will check, what's the time? 7:51. You'd think by now I would check the time before I get to this stage, so I could just sort of seamlessly go, this is the time. Or I could put a clock up so I could see the time. But no, I have to check my Fitbit every time. And then we get our startup animation. A long time ago in a galaxy. That's kind of cute. That is very cute, how it's sounding like a Star Wars movie. The only thing to make it better would be the music, instead of just that high-pitched beep. That was a bit weird. I mean, obviously they can't play the music, because it's just a small little virtual pet, but if they could do like a similar one with just beeping tunes, I feel like that would have been cute. But in any case, this is what we have, and we've got a little friend here, and like all the other nanos, you can check the status by pressing C, and we have options to a clipboard or like a spanner and a screwdriver, which usually on these nanos, the first option is food and the second option is game. So because it's a robot and not an actual living thing, the options are a little bit different. I think that's a clipboard. It could also be a battery indicator, which also would make sense because it's a robot. So I can't really tell what the first option is. Looks like, I guess, charge and wipe. That would make sense. That's what it said on the box. Okay, so I'm feeding it batteries. I'm charging its batteries. That would make sense. Okay. So instead of the dun kind of noise when your Tamagotchi doesn't need any more food, it beeps at you. That's kind of cute. It doesn't sound exactly like R2D2, but it sounds different from other Tamagotchis, so that's kind of a nice touch. And again, I'm trying to find a good angle so you can see the screen. It's the curse of the Tamagotchi Nanos, is that it's hard to find a good angle that you can see it on the camera because of how sunken in the screen is and how there's always that shadow at the top. But if I lean it too far back, we see the lights in the light box. So we'll just clean it up a little bit more, and we'll just be missing the top half of the screen. And then we'll go to what I'm assuming is games. Okay, so like the other Tamagotchi Nanos we're given, especially the later ones, which are, I guess, more open for the whole world to get, where they have the icons rather than the text for the games. So our first game is Fire. And I'm wondering how similar these games are to the other ones. So, what's this one? Is it a button mashing? Yeah, this one's the button mashing game. Okay, so this one feels more like a Tamagotchi Nano than the Hello Kitty one or the Pac-Man ones, because the games, again, that I've mentioned this in every single Tamagotchi Nano video, is that all the games are sort of taken from the same pool. And again, I like the beeping. That's a nice touch, that it's not the standard Tamagotchi noises, because all of the other Tamagotchi Nano collaborations do have, like, the same beeps. Like, it makes the same little notes. Okay, what's this one? Okay. This one is the dance game. We have to press the buttons. This one's A. That is sweet. I do like those sounds. And if I recall correctly, this one is actually going to be released in Japan as well as just in America. So that might be why it feels more like all of the other Tamagotchi Nanos, which is interesting. This is the first one to be released in Japan from Bandai America. If I recall correctly, the Pac-Man one and Hello Kitty ones weren't. So it makes sense that this one is a lot more like the other Nanos, and it would also make sense why the icons aren't just text, they're images as well, because it's meant to be released for more of an international market. And I would assume if I go to the mute, yep, there we have the muting on and off, and I would dare say if it was bedtime, the lights would be on and off with images as well. Let's check out another game. What's this question mark one? Oh, I haven't unlocked. Oh, that's right. On the box it said unlock 7 games, and I only have the starting 2, which is button mashing and the dance game, which is, it says what keys to press and you press them, or keys, buttons, whatever. But yeah, so yeah, it's fairly standard, and we have a happy little R2 now. But yeah, so I'm fairly a big fan of the fact that you actually have to unlock the games. You don't just get them straight away off the bat like with every other Nano. That seems fairly unique. And I really do like the sounds as well. So I mentioned in my BT21 Tamagotchi Nano review that I was feeling a little bit burnt out because all the Nanos felt more or less the same. This one almost feels different. So I wonder if after playing with it for a little while, if my opinion on it stays the same, or if it just sort of continues to feel like every other Nano. But yeah, so far I'm a fan of this. I think what they've done with it is pretty well done. Like, the sounds are great. The fact you actually have to unlock the games rather than having them all unlocked off the bat, that feels like there's some purpose to playing it. And I would assume the special visitors are the same as the random animations that happen throughout the day on the other Tamagotchi Nanos, so I'm excited to see those. I always do like them. But yeah, so far, I'm actually a big fan of this little guy. I'm not like the biggest fan of Star Wars. I have a lot of nostalgia for it because I grew up in the 90s where talking books were really, really popular. And I had the Star Wars talking books. And if you are younger than me and don't know what a talking book are, you would get these little cassettes and you put them in a cassette player. And cassettes are, they're kind of like, how do I explain the cassette? They're like tapes, but only for audio, and they're small. And you put it in the cassette player, and like CDs, but crossed with VHS tapes. Do young people even know what VHS tapes are? I don't know. But you put it in a tape recorder, and you press play, and then you flip along with a book, and you read along with it. And at the end of each page, it'll like play like a chime, like ling, to signify you could turn the page. And the Star Wars ones had like the voices from the movies in it, and that was pretty cool. I was a big fan of that. So hit like if you are old enough to remember talking books. I'm not sure. I don't think that people younger may know what they are, or maybe there's a more modern version of it. But in any case, let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know in the comments what you think about this little guy, because yeah, so far, big fan actually. But in any case, thanks for watching. I'm going to hang out with this guy for a little while before my full review, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!